So now I'd like to welcome our last poet for today before lunch. After lunch there will be time for Q&A session and some more poetry recital. And this is our second Poets with Passion, and his name is Tom Stodulka, OM, Order of Australia, and he's a lawyer and a mediator and a lot of other things. A husband, a grandfather, and a poet. And I'd really like to welcome him to the stage. So a big hand for Tom Stodulka.
Well, Jen, thanks so much. Thanks also, Stephen. And thanks to every one of you being here today, because it would have been a pretty sad event had you not been here. So that's a wonderful thing, despite the weather, despite the rain. It's pretty intense out there at the moment. Just the other week we had 3,000 mil of rain up in the Sunshine Coast. Several of you are from the Sunshine Coast. Anna's spent time up there. Young Stephen's written poetry in Maloney. Pip may well move from Victoria to move up to the Sunshine Coast. So you better be quick though. Things are selling too quickly up there on the Sunshine Coast. They're loving the place to death. It's what's happening in southeast Queensland now, and further north of course. But that's just life, and that gives us an opportunity to, as poets, to speak about nature and the impact of the footprint and how we can reduce the footprint. But there's many themes. You've heard the themes, and even it was very kind of Stephen to say how we've all got differences, but as Jenna said, we've also got similarities, and the two last poets finished with a story about children. There's a fellow mediator in the room here, Chalice, from halfway up to the Sunshine Coast. You're not quite a Sunshine Coastian, Chalice. Or do you think you are? So Chalice is a fellow mediator, and Chalice and I work with children a lot in family law mediation. And the theme is there, what's in the child's best interest. So you can see we've all got that theme, the three of us, in relation to children. And we've heard about our respective children. I've got three, two of them in Australia, in Queensland, and one in London, coming back for my grandchild's first birthday at the end of this week, or the end of this month. So we should also acknowledge Ocean Reef. We're part of Ocean Reef Publishing, and we've also got Pip here, you've heard about today. Pip's also an Ocean Reef published author, and her books are over there. And poets need agents, or writers need agents, so Pip needs an agent, and we all need an agent. So, and we're not that good at spruiking our own wares very often, so it's nice to be able to acknowledge another author or other authors. And as well, one of the themes that came up today already was that capacity, having confidence to be able to sit down and write. And you heard about Stephen saying he wasn't the best at certain studies, or his son wasn't the best at certain studies, and yet his son has become a shining light, just like Stephen is a shining light now in relation to writing. I couldn't write my assignments at prep school. I had to get my mother, who had English as a second or third language, and I had English as a second language, so I couldn't write. So my mum, who's got a German background, she had to write my assignments. So things have improved since then a little bit. I don't get my 99-year-old mother to write my assignments or my poems anymore. My mum's in Canberra, she's turning 99 in September, and hanging in. So that's pretty amazing, isn't it? That good older generation. I'm not so sure that we're all going to be as successful. Now, writing about the themes of the day, but before I continue, I should refer to something we spoke about at the last Poets with Passion in October, November last year. What does the science tell us? Dr. Rafael Campo from the Harvard Medical Center, when we hear the rhythmic language and recite poetry, our bodies translate crude sensory data into nuanced knowing. Feeling becomes meaning. And if I can start with a topical poem, it's actually not in any of the 3 books of poetry. 2 of them are here. The third one, Life is a Drama, Be Calmer, it came out at the end of last year. Life is a Journey, it came out about a year before. And the first book was Storm Clouds and Silver Linings, My Journey. So we've moved from journey to life is a dance to life is a drama, be calmer for the COVID years. But this poem's not in it, a bit like you, Stephen, reading one of your newer poems that's not published yet. Flood alert, 4th of April 2022. It's been weeks. So much water under the bridge and sadly even more above the bridge. More and more again, driving so many almost insane. Through every crevice, an absolute unwelcome menace. Through every window and door, affecting rich and poor. A great hope of rain, now realised, but no longer welcome in our dry, drought-ridden land. Thank heavens so many are willing to lift a hand. Water here and water there, water everywhere. Smelly, unsightly, modern detritus, plastic, metal, broken glass. So many broken hearts, so many broken dreams, forever shattered. Rebuild, but how? The community rallies like in yesteryear with too many a fire, ever so dire. Resilience, patience, renewed hope. Soldiers, sailors, the Air Force all in full swing. So much hard work and commitment they bring. Sharing the pain, please come and visit again. A cry for help, help us all to restore, knowing there will be more. Support networks, emergency and other services. Police, medical and hospital teams, and just those who care. Donations are made, though more is always welcome. We must have hope and trust. That is a must. You give us hope, the means to cope. Stand united together. Stay longer. It will make us all stronger. I think every one of us is influenced by others who've come before us, other poets, other writers, just other people, other colleagues, other friends, other poets. But I've always been impressed with Desiderata by Max Ehrmann. Do you know Desiderata? And a few lines from Desiderata. Apparently it was written in the early 20s. Whatever your labours and aspirations, in the noisy confusion of life, keep peace in your soul. With all its sham, drudgery and broken dreams, it is still a beautiful world. Be cheerful, strive to be happy.